Now, around Christmas time, we talk a lot about decorating our houses. We decorate our trees, we decorate our mantles, we decorate our walls. But what about decorating our tables and having it out all season long? And that is what Maria is here to show us how to do and to make it really easy and fun. Isn't that right, Maria?
Yes, so you can see we have some beautiful DIY table runners. And that's the thing, Deb. You know, I love me a tablescape. I love to go all out with the Christmas decor. But like you said, this is great for our sort of everyday decor that we're going to have around. And here's the thing. We all love to DIY here. And this is a DIY that's fun to actually make in the process. And you have a great outcome, but the actual process to make it is really fun.
And it's something you can, like we said, make with the kids and keep year after year and pull it out and say, JJ, you made this when you were 2 or 3,
That's
you know?
the thing. These supplies make it so effortless for kids to be involved in. So we're trying to entertain our kids this holiday season. And so this is a really great and inexpensive way to get them creative and crafty with some sponges.
It is super fun. All right, so we start with just a plain table runner.
Yeah, so you can just get these online. I have a white table runner here. Honestly, you could do any color you really like, but keep in mind, I'm doing white so that the colors of the paint really are gonna stand out. When you're looking for the table runner, you want it to be ideally a cotton base so that it will take on the color really well.
Okay.
And make sure to iron it first. Obviously, it is going to be much easier to work with without the crinkles. And when you're looking for one to buy, make sure it's more of a flat one, not one that has tons of texture to it, because we do want our designs to really stand out.
All right, perfect. We have our table runners ready to go. Now we need our stamps, so to speak.
We're creating our own stamps. So we have sponges. This is what's really playful and fun for the kids. Okay, and I mean the adults too, let's be honest. Okay, so you can see here, this is my sponge, and I'm gonna move this one over so you can kind of see side by side. When you're looking for sponges, you can really do it with any sponge, but the thing you can see the difference is this is gonna have a bunch more holes in it. This one's not. If you do have the ones with the holes, it just takes a little bit of extra effort to make it look pretty if you want, but the ones that are completely flat will, you won't have to do as much work.
Okay.
We're gonna show you how to do the ones with the holes in it today.
All right.
And so I have my tree template, and all I did was I went online and just printed it out and cut it out.
Or you could just freehand it.
You could freehand it too,
Sure.
absolutely. Trees sometimes are hard to make even on both sides,
Oh, that's
but
right.
you know, that is one thing that I do find is really good to print out if you can, because you
Okay.
can't fold these in half really to make it
Right.
symmetrical. So I'm just using a Sharpie just to get, so I have my template. You can see here, and then you just grab some scissors to cut it. So what you
cut
want
right
to
through.
do
It's
is
so
make sure to kind of
simple.
go on the inside of the line that you cut, and they're really easy to cut. And so then, for instance, Deb, you can see over there, I have an ornament and I have a tree. So
Super
for
cute.
the ornament, all you need to do is cut a circle out of the sponge. So I just traced, I have cookie cutters around.
I was going to
but-
say, something tells me it's either a biscuit cutter or a cookie
Yeah,
cutter from
exactly.
your house,
Depends
for
on
sure.
yeah. If you're in the South, you got tons of biscuit cutters. So Debbie has biscuit cutters.
I do.
And so then you have your tree, just like that. Now keep in mind, you want to make sure you know which side is going to be the top and the bottom. So for instance, you can see I have a little bit of the marker on here. That is the side that you're going to be stamping, because that is the side that we traced. So don't get the two kind of mixed up, because the side you cut perfectly, like this, it cuts differently on both ends.
Okay.
Because it's so thick.
All
And
right.
then you have your tree and you're ready to go.
Okay.
And you have your circle like I have here. I just used my little cookie cutter, but I have my circle and I have my tree.
Okay, so now we go in, we start stamping.
We do. So I'm gonna move this over so we can see. So I'm working on a covered surface, as you can see here. So make sure that you are working on a covered surface in your own home, because it will go through to the other side.
All right.
And I have my my sponges here. So I do recommend for the trees, I liked doing a variety of colors. It just gives it more depth and dimension.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna spread this out a little bit onto, I just am using a paper plate, and you grab your little sponge here.
And this is where all the kids get involved.
This is where the kids get involved, and you get a little messy, and that's okay.
And super fun. And then you know what else, Maria? After you're finished with it, actually use like a paint pen or something and write the date on.
You absolutely
so you can
could
go back and look at it every year.
do this. And you know what? The paint pen I love too. So for instance, Deb, because I love this as a tip, so I'm glad you brought it up, to create any additional details that you can see that I have on here, like for instance, the ornament has some great detail to it, use a paint pen. They are so great to, like you said, to put the date on or any additional details like that. So then after I get my tree on, I am going to use my paintbrush
to go in and fill in.
that. And so then what I would do ultimately is switch up my trees. You can switch up sizes. And truthfully, if you want to make it super easy too, you could just cut the trees into triangles. You don't even need to necessarily do the intricate little details that we have here. And as you can see, I am getting it on my fingers, which is the whole point because it's fun. But yeah, so then
Now, what kind of paint will we use for this?
Oh,
Maria?
thank you, Deb, for bringing that up. This is when you're shopping for your paint, this is acrylic craft paint, but when you are shopping for your paint, you want to, it'll usually say it on there. It'll usually say, this is tiny, but it says on here the different materials that it can go on.
Oh, okay.
And you want to make sure that it says fabric on there because it's then specifically for fabric, which means you can wash it. Now, I would...
Oh, super important, right.
Exactly.
Or otherwise you're gonna have to spot clean, which is okay too.
And I recommend spot cleaning just as long as you can, but if you do have to wash these, I would hand wash these. And you can see, just keep going. And if I were to do the same thing with the ornament, it's just the same process, and you just stamp it.
Keep going, and then we draw, I know I have little gold paint over here too to make the little thing that the ornament hangs on the tree with, right?
Exactly. So if you were doing your detailing and you didn't have a paint pen, then I would say grab some extra just paint and you can add your little details like that.
Now, how long would the paint take to dry?
So that's just going to kind of depend on the saturation.
How much paint you put on, like I've done?
Exactly, on the saturation. So I would, before, like for instance, if you want to do these, wanted to display these the day of, I don't recommend. So I would make this a day or two before you want to actually use them for your Christmas gathering. But make them now, do them now, and decorate your house.
And then we add the trim.
The trim
is
super
adorable.
easy. Grab some Fabri-Tac and you can get this trim at just any kind of fabric store and do a great, just simple line of the Fabri-Tac and then put this on and let it be. But just make sure, before you do this step, I would actually move it to a place where you want it to dry because look, it would stick here.
Yeah.
And you want it to actually not stick. So move this to another location, let it dry completely, and then you can add on your trim.
Yeah, it definitely goes through. Don't do this on your nice dining room table. Just put newspaper down or something. Thank you so much, Maria. This is so cute.
It's so fun.
For full instructions, you all head on over to HallmarkChannel.com.